Before we get started, a quick reminder. Unlocked is for informational and entertainment purposes only. It is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Please consult a qualified healthcare provider for any health concerns. Thank you for listening. Please like, subscribe, and give a thumbs up, and share across all platforms. Unlocked. Mental performance, physical results. Welcome back to Unlocked Mental Performance, Physical Results. I'm Coach Eric, and today we're going to flip the script. No, I don't mean we're going to talk about movies or get further into music like we did last episode. No, we're going to flip the script on failure. Reframing is a great technique for mental performance, and it's critical for you to help yourself overcome failure, not just by pretending like it didn't happen and pushing through and being a tough guy, but by taking that failure, reframing it, and making it part of your process to progress. So, you have to first accept that failure is an inevitable part of sports and life. Let's face it, you're going to have failure academically, not necessarily getting Fs, but if you're an A student and that B plus sneaks in there, that's going to feel like failure. If you're a C student, you may slide into a D every now and then. Failure's going to happen. You're going to ask that person out on a date that's going to say no. You're going to be late when you should have been on time. You're going to have failure at work. And if you're playing sports, by golly, you're going to have lots of failure there. You're going to miss shots. You're going to lose races. You're going to strike out. You're going to walk a batter. You're going to stand on the sidelines and watch somebody else celebrate what should have been your victory. All of those things feel horrible. All of those things are failure. And quite often, what we're told to do with those things, what we're told to do with failure, is dust them off and throw them out. I've used that line a million times with teams. All right, guys, we're going to leave that out on the field. We're not going to think about that. We're not going to talk about that. That was an awful experience. So while we're here in the locker room, while we're here in the dugout, while we're here on the sidelines, I want you to feel that awful experience. I want you to process that awful experience. And by the time you get to the car, I want it gone. I want you to leave that experience here. I've said that. I've said that because there are experiences that people are not equipped to process. There are experiences that in that moment, the best thing they can do is just put them away, shelve them for another day. But those failures aren't gone. They happened. And everybody knows that we're going to think about them. The key there is I don't want you to dwell on them as you're driving home. I don't want you just reliving those moments when you need to be sleeping. But I don't want you to truly forget about them either. I want them there, filed away for the right day. I want them there for when you're ready to reframe them, when you're ready to flip them from a negative to a positive. And that's what framing is. When you talk about reframing, it's taking that negative, that failure, that self-defeating mindset, and turning it around and finding a way to build from it, to find a growth-oriented mindset from that negative experience. And there's a lot of ways to do that. We'll touch on some of them here. But the key is you can't live in the negatives. You have to learn to use the negatives to create positives. First technique that we talk about here is reframing. And what I want you to know with reframing is that it's not easy. It's not easy to just say, hey, you know what? I'm going to take the silver lining approach here. Yes, I struck out, but I had good hacks. I made contact. I'm in a better position to get a hit next time. Yes, I got set on my own serve, but I'm prepared. I've got a good forehand. I'm going to be able to take her serves and put them back over the net and crash hard, catch her off guard, be aggressive, and get some points that way. Yes, I didn't hit my max lifts today. I didn't get a good night's sleep last night. I haven't fueled properly. I now know what I have to do so that next time I'm in a better place to hit my maxes. It sounds easy to just look at the bright side. It's not. It's going to take practice because you're going to have that voice nagging at you saying, well, but, I mean, you still sucked. Yeah, true. But if you can take that negative, accept the failure point as a data point, and then look at what led to that failure as additional data points, take the emotional part out of that and say, hey, X, Y, and Z happened. And if I do 1, 2, and 3, I can get a better result. So next time I'm going to be more successful because I was less successful this time. The other thing you can do, or another thing you can do, hey, look, there was a slight failure point there. I need to pay better attention to my notes when I am talking on the microphone. How about reflective questioning? Okay, techniques. What am I talking about here? Well, question everything. And I don't mean, hey, coach, why aren't you putting me in? What I mean is to get those data points, you have to ask the right questions. You need to have reflective questioning built into your post-game process. And that doesn't mean on the car ride home. I'd rather you wait until tomorrow. You know the old 24-hour rule before you're allowed to talk to coach about something emotional that happened in a game? Well, you should apply that to yourself. Take a breath, relax, get some good quality sleep, and then when you're ready to take that negative and make it a positive, start asking yourself the right questions. What went wrong? I mean, that's the most obvious question, right? How did I lose? Not only are you going to look at individual moments in the game, but also in what led up to the game. Were you properly rested? Were you properly hydrated? Were you properly fed? Were you focused on the game or were you focused on the upcoming dance? Were you focused on the game or were you feeling a little sick? What went wrong on the field of play, but also what went wrong leading up to the field of play? Was the strategy bad? Look, as an athlete, you are told repeatedly, you can't judge what the coach did because the coach is the authority figure. You just have to execute it and win with what the coach wants you to do. However, once you take that emotion out of it and you're no longer actively questioning the coach to the coach, you're well within your right to question the strategy. And then you have to ask yourself, okay, I don't agree with this strategy, but what could I have done differently to make that strategy work? Because at the end of the day, I don't have control of what strategy our team is running. I only have control over whether or not I do the things I can do to maximize my personal potential and thus my team's potential within that strategy. So what can I learn as I look back at everything that went wrong? What can I learn as I look back at everything that went right? Because not all failure is failure. You may lose the game, but score 16 points and go 3 for 3 from outside the arc. You can learn from that. You can build from that. And you can identify things that you can do differently next time. And part of that is coming up with productive thought replacements. Yes, you can reframe it. Yes, you can have great reflective questioning. But some of what you have to do is just flat out replace the negative thoughts with productive thoughts. Not necessarily positive ones, although they can be, but productive thoughts. Ones that you can learn from, ones that you can use as stepping stones to improvement. Part of the process to progress, not being judgmental. So you have to start by identifying those negative thoughts. Stop calling yourself a failure. You failed, but you're not a failure. You are an athlete. You are a player. You are working towards an end goal. The end goal is not what you are, and neither is the stumble that you made en route to that end goal. You are an athlete. You are a player. You are a coach. You are an employee, a spouse, a student. You are a lot of different things. What you aren't is a failure. You may have had a failure. You may have failed. But you have to replace that negative, destructive thought of I am this absolute and understand that that isn't an absolute. Failure isn't an absolute. It is part of the process to progress. So identify that. Identify those negative terms that you have that you use consistently and change them. Develop a strategy to challenge those things. Look at that. I just kind of stumbled over my own words. So what I was trying to tell you is that what you need to do is look at those words and you need to challenge those words. And the traditional way of doing that is just to argue against them. I'm not a failure. I failed as part of the process of getting better. I had these other successes that show I'm not a failure. Just because I didn't win doesn't mean I outright failed. This failure is going to be part of my process to becoming greater, and thus it's just one rung in the ladder. It's not in and of itself the end. All of those things are positive ways to take that failure and replace it as being part of the process. This loss is a workout that'll help me in my wins. And if you have a certain sensibility, a certain sarcastic nature, sometimes you can take those failure terms and make them a positive. I have an athlete, teenager, very sarcastic, very dry delivery. And the positive phrase that athlete uses is try not to suck. You'll see in a lot of my material, TNTS. And what the heck is TNTS? Try not to suck. There is nothing positive about that. Try is passive, not aggressive. Not to, you're asking them not to do something. It's much easier to train to do something than to train to not do something. And suck is definitely not something anybody wants to do. So there's nothing good about the phrase try not to suck. TNTS is complete garbage, except that it was the way of taking an insult, the term suck, and repurposing it as a positive for a player that was overcoming injury, that was overcoming being undersized, that was overcoming being a diminished productive person on the field, not as a human being. But it made them feel like a reduced productive person as a human being. And so, to find a positive in that, they took this negative phrase and made it a war chant. Made it part of their persona's aggressive nature against the idea of failure. Try not to suck. Go have a good game. They became one and the same. Kick butt, take names. You're a bad, insert other terms here that I'm not going to say. Try not to suck. It became that for this individual player. And it's one of those things that you can carry as a badge of honor because now you've taken a negative and you have made it a positive. You have replaced a negative with a negative that means a positive. That's not for everybody. I'm not telling you take the insult that's been thrown at you and just start saying it all the time so you feel good about it. That's not everybody's bag. But if it's yours, don't be afraid of it either, because it's not for anybody else. It's for you. So let's tell a story. I like stories. So we can apply some of this. Imagine yourself as a baseball player. I know you might be a different kind of athlete, but come on, stay with me here. Baseball player, softball player, ball and bat sport, cricket, but I don't know the rules. So you're a baseball player and you're getting ready to bat, and you have had a rough day. You've already struck out. You don't have any confidence. Maybe you're in the middle of a slump. You've had a rough go of it. And you can feel your coach's eyes just bearing down on you. I mean, they're burning a hole on you. You've got 1 foot in the box, 1 foot out. You're looking over at the coach. It's a 3-2 count. You know it's down to this pitch, and he's giving you that look. He's not even giving you signs. And your first thought is, man, I'm going to strike out again. And you can focus on that. You can focus on that strikeout that you had a couple innings ago, and you can let that eat at you. You can put your other foot back in the box, and you can kind of look at the pitcher, but you're not focused. I mean, you're sitting there telling yourself, that pitcher's got great stuff. He smoked me. Man, I know my teammates are in the dugout going, dude, he cannot hit a beach ball right now. They're talking smack. You can feel it. Of course, they might not be. They actually might be in the dugout going, man, I hope he gets this one. He really deserves it. He's been working hard. But you don't know what they're saying. But in your head, you've gone to a negative place. So what you're hearing from those murmurs isn't, you got this. It's, yeah, you got this. And there's a very different context there, right? So you can be standing there, 3-2 count, 1 pitch left, and you can be just completely enveloped in all of this negativity. And that's not going to increase your probability of hitting that next pitch. We all know you've only got a 1 in 4 chance of hitting a 3-2 count. That's just math. But if you acknowledge that and accept that and embrace that and live in that negative concept, you've got a 0% chance. Let's face it. You know as well as I do, it's only the broken clock being right twice a day that has any shot at you actually touching a pitch, let alone getting a hit, if that's where your mind's at. But if you're standing there 1 foot in the box and you're looking at your coach and his eyes are burning through you, and he's not even bothering to give you signs because you're having a bad day, and let's face it, this guy's got good stuff. And you start to remember your ABCs. And you look out there and you act like you do when you hit well. You've got your shoulders back, your chest up. You're digging that foot into the box. Even on turf, you can still do that. It makes you feel good. You take your breath, your one good breath, because you're breathing deep. You're breathing calm. That's what you do when you hit well. And you're committed to this pitch. Nothing else matters. You are committed to this pitch. You flipped the script. You're not focusing on the negative. You're not worried about that previous attempt. In fact, you're glad for that previous attempt because you're sitting here with a 3-2 count and you know what that pitcher already did to beat you. You've seen his stuff. That failure last inning is going to be your success this inning. It's a building block. You can identify his fastball. You know what his curveball looks like. You're going to see that ball coming out of his hands and you're going to know that you know how to hit it. And you're going to focus on what you can control because that's going to give you a greater sense of purpose. It's going to give you the best chance at success. You can't control your coach, so you're not going to worry about that. You can't control your teammates. Don't make assumptions about what they're doing. You can't control the pitch he's going to throw. All you can do is take that good breath, focus on the release point, and trust that you know what it is the moment it comes out. And you can't trust the umpire behind you to call the right thing, whether it's a ball, whether it's a strike. You can't trust he's going to do the right thing back there. The only thing you can do, the only thing that you can control is how you respond to this pitch. Now, if the umpire calls strike 3 and you're out, now you've got to control how you react to that because you can't change it. ball or strike. You could be right or wrong. You can't change it. You don't have control of the umpire. But if you stay focused on the release point, if you stay focused on your approach, that good breath, that shoulders back, that acting tall, and you're willing to take a swing, and I mean take a swing, risk of failure, whether we're talking baseball, softball, golf, which are sports that involve a swing, or we're talking about just getting out of the blocks fast and track. That's still taking a swing in the sense of taking a chance, risking failure to get success. If you focus on your controllables and you dig into the box and you take your good breath and you use the information you got from that negative experience to prepare you for this positive experience, well, it's going to be the best swing of your day. Forget one good breath. It's one good swing and crack. That's supposed to be the sound of the ball hitting the bat because we just had success. That's right. We took failure. We reframed it. We used it. We built on it. We found a positive. We acted positive. And we got a positive result. And we did it while talking about baseball, which makes me happy. I love talking about your sport too, whatever it is. The truth of the matter is I'm a junkie. We've all got it. Whatever it is, that addiction, that thing we love to do. I love to talk about your sports. So hit me up. Let me know how you're feeling. Let me know what you want to hear about, what you want to talk about. Let me know, have you figured out how to act big, how to breathe big, and how to have a big commitment to what you're doing? If you haven't, let's figure out a way to help get you there. Because there's nothing negative about flipping a negative into a positive and using that to make you a better athlete. I'm Coach Eric. This has been Unlocked Mental Performance, Physical Results. Keep grinning, keep grinding.
To the plate, feeling the weight. The crowd's cheering loud, but it's up to fate. Struck out too many times, doubts creeping in, but he knows in his heart it's time to begin. He remembers the lessons, the words that they say. Keep your head up high, don't let fear lead the way. Act, take a swing, let the bat on the talk. Chest high, walk the walk. Breathe in deep, let the pressure unlock. You are focused, ready to rock. Commit to the moment, let the past fade away. Get back in the game, you're ready to play. The sun's shining bright, he's feeling the heat. With every deep breath, he's back on his feet. Visualizing success, he's got a new plan. With the tools from Play Big, he's a brand new man. He knows it's a journey, not just a quick fix. With patience and practice, he'll find his own mix. Act, take a swing, let the back of the talk. Chest high, walk the walk. Breathe in deep, let the pressure unlock. You are focused, ready to rock. Commit to the moment, let the past fade away. Get back in the game, you're ready to play. Every setback's a lesson, every strike's a chance to rise up stronger, to take a new stance. With the crowd on his side, he's ready to show. With the ABCs in his heart, he's ready to go. Take a swing, let the back of the talk. Chest high, walk the walk. Breathe in deep, let the pressure unlock. You are focused, ready to rock. Commit to the moment, let the past fade away. Get back in the game, you're ready to play. So So here's to the slumps, the struggles we face. With courage and commitment, we'll find our own place. Every new inning is a chance to rise. Chase the champion spirit to the skies. Every new inning is a chance to rise. Here's to the slumps. Here's to the struggle. We've got the tools, so here's to the work. Take a breath, you've got this. Go play, play big.